It is April the 4th, 2000 and... I smurfed that up already. 2016. I'm Dana Durnford. That might be a bit loud. Bear with me while I sort it out. I'll sort it out. I'll get it right. And so today's Hell on Earth is what we're going to be talking about. If you can hear me, that music will stop playing hopefully in a few seconds. I'm just trying to work some kinks out. It takes 5 minutes to get these streams up and running. We got to cancel the other stream, and at the same time I can always come over and say hi to everybody and get rid of Dana in the background. Good morning, everybody. We'll click. Don't click that, Dana. Now you've done it. Click that is okay. Get rid of the Adobe. That one's running 97%. I'll bring over to that camera. Good morning, everybody. I see you. I am looking at the right way, whether it looks right on the screen or that you're looking at. Hi Nova, good morning. Starlight, Elaine, Shabazz, Just Cruising, White Sparrow, Starlight, Jan Brooks. Hey Jan, I got your email. I just haven't got through the video yet. Very interesting. Thank you for that, by the way. And is Christina Consolo okay? Probably shouldn't be asking that question on the live stream, I suppose. But I'm worried. I heard a rumor she might be not doing very well, and so I'm worried about her. It's not true because it's just a rumor yet, folks. So, but I am worried about it. I got to check into it. Third Starlight Nip Killer. Terry Ann, Mickey Smith. Hey Mickey. Hello folks. Yes, hello all good folks. White Sparrow, Dion. Did I miss anybody? Just Cruising. Thomas Ackerman. Hi Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas is one of the most important artists history is going to show, because he's going to tell that story of Fukushima. That was always been the job of artists, to tell history anyway. And Thomas is not no slouch either on top of that. He's professional. The average person can't afford to buy his paintings, let's put it that way. Good morning, everybody. Chris, Amy, let's get on with it. Here we go. We're going to run right into it. I'll switch cameras once I figure out what I'm doing to that one. That one, yeah. And so what I done was I dropped, just because the show always takes 5 minutes to start, I dropped the audio down a bit and I moved the microphone in closer. Alright, and so if it's a little bit different than the last time, what I'm trying to do, I rerouted the audio cables, because you gotta, it's a big mess I got here, and all the lights you gotta do just to pull off what I'm doing, and this little setup I got, it's cool, it's fine, don't worry about it, but and hopefully it's better audio for everybody, is all I'm saying. And let's get on with that show. I'm over here. And see Hamster Video Converter? I don't know how that worked out this morning for everybody, but it's kind of weird for me on my end, so let's do something like that. I'll make it a bit bigger. Bigger is better, Dana. That's not bigger, Dana. Get your act together. That's bigger, Dana. Thank you. Good job, Dana. Okay, here we go. Yoink. Got rid of that one. Another mouse. Mouse. I got to change cameras again. Back to that camera. Back to that camera. All right. Hamster is a good one for converting videos. It's free. It's cheap. It's easy to use. And I noticed the discrepancy when I look this way and that way. It's because the mic is right here. So when I'm looking at that camera, I actually got the mic right in my face. It's all in my face. Okay, enough clowning around, Dana. We got real pertinent. 70% of the children that were tested for contamination with radioactive cesium, and all of them from the outside of the Fukushima prefecture. So they're only checking for cesium. Cesium is just a tracer. But they can find that. Not necessarily they were looking the way they should have been looking. Not necessarily they know how to use the equipment they were using. They were improvising. The equipment they're using can only count 1 out of 6 counts. So instead of getting every atomic decay, the Geiger counter has to settle down. It has to be calibrated properly. It has to be turned on and operated and warmed up properly. You have to know what its flaws are so you can utilize it properly. And then you're under emotional stress and emotional times. But anyway, 70% of the children tested contaminated. They weren't so stressed out. Have radioactive cesium in their urine was another one. That's 2013. And the first one was 2013, October. I think a lot of these were 2013 headlines. I can't remember. You got to realize how much I got. 25,000 supporting documentations on top of everything else. 13,500 headlines before I gave up counting. Japanese medical experts deeply concerned about children's radiation exposure. Over 5,000 pictures before I gave up looking. 51%, not that I gave up, it's just that that frenzy where I need that data. Same reason, like we covered 9,000 headlines before I went on the ocean. So we flushed it out, made sure there was an issue, a problem, an event. And so Chernobyl was hell on earth. That's 2006 article, John Vidal. And he was talking about how 150, and I'll bring up that for you later, but let's keep going. 51% of kids contaminated with cesium-137 at Fukushima Hospital. That was 2012 headline. Yeah, Dana, they eat bananas all the time too, Dana. Boom. Not hitting you, I'm just like, boom, there's an idiot. Some had clothing indicating high-level gamma radiation. You see, you need 2,000 Geiger counters, 2,000 people trained to use each Geiger counter and how to look for that isotopes. And then 3 shifts of 2,000 Geiger counter operators. You need a union for the Geiger counter operators. You need, a lot of buses. Anyway, let's keep going. That we know about, because there's over 12,000 that we don't know about. Tokyo newspaper, 6 in 10 Fukushima children tested have diabetes. Because diabetes is one of the things will show up before the cancer manifests. Same as autism and dementia, and autism passed on to your children. It will show up before cancer, because cancer takes a long time to show up. Could be 50 years, who knows? Could be 5 years, could be a couple of years in cases of leukemias. Could be shorter than that if you're working on a site where you're getting bombarded with X-rays and neutrons. Let's keep going. Let's keep banging into these things. We're expecting diabetes in children. Yeah, I bet you are. But there's 1,800 autoimmune deficiencies, autoimmune diseases. Calling them autoimmune don't do them justifiable for the average person, so you got to call them a disease, which is what they call it. A deficiency is a polite way of saying you got to liquidate your assets in the future before you got the cancer. You get it yet? There's nothing good about radiation. I'll explain that to you coming up. I got studies for you brought in for today, just on tritium, about cancer. So we got a whole folder on that coming up. Children playing on dirt with huge amounts of radioactivity, including alpha. And cesium levels so high prevent identification of other isotopes. Settle down, Zoe. You're going to settle down. Yeah, settle down. I'm not letting nurture because the pit bulls are running around for the last week. Haven't seen them in a few days, but I don't trust it. I want to be able to react if I hear something, right? Dogs could be harmless, but when they're running together, 2 pit bulls, they can do a lot. They treated a cat here 5 days ago. I had to go out and drive them out of it. They went away, thank goodness, but cesium levels so high prevent identification of other isotopes. So 97,000 becquerels a kilogram. So like the trenches at Fukushima, I know somebody was asking that question. I can't remember the name, sorry. I just read it before it came online. But somebody was asking about the trenches in Fukushima, what would happen if that stuff washed out of the trenches, where it was 1 million becquerels per kilogram, I think they were talking about. And so that's the problem, right? That's why we have Spain radioactive mystery unfolds as dirty bomb fears grow. And so a dirty bomb would do something like that to the community where it would spread it outside. This stuff was washed out a long time ago. TEPCO didn't waste any time washing that out into the ocean rather. They cleaned up 30 million one-ton bags on top of that. But they were dumping it in the rivers and the estuaries and lakes and the streams. It's already in the mountains and washing down with every rainstorm, snowstorm. It radiates everything it comes in contact, and if everything is covered in it and everything is radiating, everything radiates everything else. Just the wind blowing along, the land is getting irradiated in every sense of that word. It's picking up radiation. And so that's why the typhoons that went down to the Philippines had so much energy. It was because, think about a gram is 88 times 37 billion atoms, atomic decays, where natural stuff, it's 0.00050, it's 10 and then 71 10 millions. So you got 88 times 37 billion. Pretty number. Not million, Dana, billion. So 88 times 37. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 12 zeros and a 3 per gram. But now they had to liberate 400 train car loads of iron ore from a mountain. Like Navajo Reserve, just the reserve itself got 15,000 abandoned uranium mines. But and that's a lot, 15,000. Let me sink that in for your mind. Abandoned. Clean green, too cheap to meter. Because they abandoned all the radioactivity and all the mines and everything else. It doesn't go into the equations now. But they boil off 1 million gallons a minute. But anyway, the number you're looking at, you can see my mouse. You see the 6? Well, put a 7 there instead. And that's how many atoms it takes to kill everybody on the planet. And so the rest of the atoms could be used to kill the rest of the people on the planet with a gram. And a gram is produced from 400 train car loads. A gram is 1 million watts. And so 1 million watts, think about it. That's quite a trick, isn't it? Does your generator put out 1 million watts? No. Too bad. A gram of this is the size of the tip of your pinky. Size of a dime that you spend in a... Is there anything you spend a dime on anymore you can buy for a dime? I can't remember. Politician. Nuclear scientists are much more expensive. Nuclear scientists got a degree to come out and lie to you. That's why they went along with it. To tell you it's like a banana and tail chip walking in the sunshine for how many years now? 70 years? And you let them get away with it? Nuclear scientists, that's an insult, right? They're laughing at you. They're insulting you. They're ridiculing you. They're getting in your face. They're humiliating you. They're going home. They're sitting around laughing about it after when people are watching their videos and they go viral. They're sitting around laughing at it. Getting big fat paychecks because you think it's like a banana. Because, hey, scientists told me. Dana, why would a scientist lie? Anything you've seen on TV, that's a lawyer. Anything you see coming out of a university, that's a lawyer. That's what they do. They're PR firms for a handful of corporations. Think about corporate personhood, where a corporation has human rights and now is taking over all the democratic countries. That's how it filtrates out there. This corporate personhood is a legal amendment to the slavery law. An illegal amendment. An illegal one that can be challenged. But that gives them immunity, like Eric Schmidt. Google can't go to jail, get a criminal record. Mark Zuckerberg can't get a criminal record. He's been convicted on trial many times and got, billions and billions and billions of dollars in fines. They don't care about that because they got corporate personhood. So they don't pay taxes. They ship the money right out of your country. The minute you buy one of their products, boom, your money gone right out of the country. You don't pay state, federal, local, provincial taxes. Right camera, Dana? Right there. Gotcha. And so they don't pay state, local, federal, provincial taxes. And you can't put a corporation in jail. And you can't put the employees in jail. So another way of looking at it is a company that's on a stock exchange that has shares. That's what a corporate personhood has smurfed into. I like it. It's smurfed into. Morphed into. Okay, whatever, right? You gotta watch some more cartoons and lighten up a little bit over there. But anyway, it's smurfed into these corporations that are too big to fail. Because and no one can go to jail. Unless you need a fall guy. And then it has to be an inside crime. That's corporate personhood. And so, big corporate personhood ships all his money to the offshore accounts. They got enough of them corporations in each community sucking the country dry. Then the local community, and I'll just end on that, local governments have to cannibalize you and your property and your assets and your money and create an industry cannibalizing you forever because the corporations ain't going to allow them to give them the money to get bigger. And if you give them a fine, then the money they didn't pay in taxes, they pay a chunk of that back in fines. The rest of it is used to cannibalize your institutions, your governments, buy them off, and just seed the whole system with their people. With lobbyists. Lobbyists are not supposed to exist. It used to be legal to hang a lobbyist, but because of corporate personhood, lobbyists now have all the same protections. They can't be held accountable. They're corporate personhood. They're like a journalist in a different way, where they got diplomatic immunity in every sense of the word. Now, if Google, Eric Schmidt runs somebody over, he can still go to jail. But if he was doing it when he was working for Google, he doesn't. He probably could in some countries, don't get me wrong. But generally he'll pay a big fine or something. He's too important. He's got corporate personhood. He got shareholders depending upon him making their money every day. Right? He's their asset. He's just an asset. But that kind of asset can't be liquidated because of corporate personhood. Where before it was a charter, and you could liquidate all the charters, put the people in jail, take the assets, and liquidate that to pay restitution, outstanding debt, and somebody else would fill up that void, right? Let's keep going anyway. Let's get back to the headlines, Dana. So, the amount of atoms in a single gram, is that many numbers you're looking at now. And a single atom will give you a cancer or an autoimmune deficiency up to 1800 before the cancer shows up. See, that's the... Let me keep going anyway on these headlines. I'm trying to show you Spain radioactivity mystery. Oh, it's a dirty bomb if a tourist gets it. Oh, I get it. Dirty bomb, they get it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Got to lock down all the cities, all the buses, all the airplanes, all the schools. You got to fear-monger everybody. But if Fukushima radiates the entire country and everybody else's country, particularly the ones in North America, high level, oh yeah, no, that's not fear. There's nothing to worry about there, Dana. You know, like, there's 1 million becquerels in their trenches, but look out into these cities where there's 29 million becquerels in a square meter of soil. So like a kilogram, for instance, with 1 million, you multiply it by 29. Right? And then you get a square meter. So a square meter in the cities near Tokyo were also 29. Everything was 29 per square meter, basically. If you want to look at it in kind of contextualizing it, that they look for iodine 131, but there's 10 times more 132, 30 times more 133, 31 times more iodine 129 with a 50 million year half-life. And these are just tracers. But they're ionizing and radiating. They're not created by the sun or the solar system. Let's keep rocking and rolling and banging into this stuff. How am I doing? Am I still there? Am I still streaming? Anybody know? Let's have a quick vote. Still there, still rocking, still rolling. Hi, everybody. Let's keep going. So this is really bad throughout Japan. They're finding what this like black mold, and that's putting out 1 million becquerels a kilogram. On the roofs, on the streets, on the sidewalks, and school playgrounds. And so that country is in for a huge... See, cancer takes a long time, but the diabetes, like I just showed you, is showing up already. And then all the children peeing out. Do you think the adults are not peeing it out too? Do you think the elderly are not peeing it out too? Is it just because, they only tested the children? We don't know. The adults, probably not in them. Well, a child is 10 times more effective because they're smaller body weight, but they eat the same volumes. They drink the same volumes. They get in the shower for the same amount of time. They're closer to the ground, where the elements are being liberated from the environment because they're 1/10,000 to millionth of a meter take a meter divided by 1,000,000, take that one of those out of 1,000,000 and divide that by 10,000. And so they're like fog, you'll get a higher radiation reading. I never made it out onto the ocean this weekend, by the way. It's just been a hellish weekend. It was a hellish last week for me anyway. I said that on Friday. I'm probably not going to make it on the ocean. Next weekend is looking good. Weather's looking better, actually. Gorgeous, 16 degrees, sunshine, and no wind. So I'll probably go out this weekend, hopefully, if I'm not worn out again. I don't know. I want to go out and see if there's birds out there. I have to go look. I have to know, but we're okay, right? We're good to go. Everything is good to go for that scenario. I just didn't make it out this weekend. That's all. I'll hit out next weekend, most likely, weather permitting. Surge in radioactive cesium level causes incinerator. They're burning it in the incinerators throughout Japan. They're burning it. They're burning it. They're burning it. They're burning it in the incinerators. Demented and twisted and sick and soulless and spineless and maniacally twisted freaks of nature are burning it in the incinerator. Well, Dana, we're not worried about that, Dana. We're worried that there might be a dirty bomb in Spain, Dana. The terrorists might burn it in the incinerators down there, Dana. The terrorists can get their hands on it and bring it down to Spain, Dana. All they got to do is get a job at the incinerators. Good morning, everybody. Surge in radioactive cesium level causes incinerators near Tokyo to shut down. I don't know what to say about that. Do you know what to say about that? Outside of, that's the most batshit crazy thing I've ever friggin' heard. That's why the nuclearproctologist.org exists. Because these people are crazies. They're out of control. The media in Canada and America and elsewhere are claiming it's like a banana and potato chip. But if a terrorist gets it, right? Hang on, wait for it. The terrorist gets it, they're worried about a dirty bomb. But to burn it in your incinerators, that comes right over here. That's how the jet... Hang on. I gotta come back over here for a minute. It's okay. I'll get it. It's just I got everything in the way again, as usual. Oh, Fukushima. Let me remind everybody. Let me play that video clip again.
Computer simulation shows how radioactivity is spread around the world from the disabled Fukushima Daiichi plant. The simulation was created by a group of researchers at the University of Tokyo and Kyushu University and released on Wednesday. The simulation...
I got no idea what that's all about. My voice sounds like shit on my end. Am I coming out on your end at all? That's a freaking head. Hang on. Let's come over to the comments section. How's my audio, everyone? How's the audio on my end? Hang on. Let's come over here for a second. How's the audio? Audio looks good. No one's screaming at me. Audio smurfed up, Dana. It sounded bat shit on my end. Starlight says good. Okay, I'll keep playing that video. Can hear you fine. You're good. Good sound. Okay, thank you, everyone. Hi, Gary, Chris, Shabazz, Illusion, Starlight, Nip Killer, Shiny again. Hang on, then I'll finish playing that clip. So
it's is based on the scenario in which contaminated air was vented from the disabled number 2 reactor building on March 14th, 3 days after the massive earthquake and tsunami. Computer images showed the radioactive material was lifted 5,000 meters into the air. It was then carried by westerly winds and spread over the Pacific Ocean. The images indicate that on the 4th day after being vented, the substances reached the west coast of the United States, and on the 7th day, they approached Iceland after crossing the Atlantic. The radiation was down to 1 billionth level compared to when it was emitted on March 14th.
影響という観点から言えばですね、非常に示唆が。
And so, he doesn't really say anything, do he? But we have forecasts. Let's run back over from different institutions. You have Austria's Institute for Meteorology and Geodynamics. We have the Norwegian Institute for Air Research. That's their model there. Basically looks like the Japanese model you were just looking at, a forecast based upon only 2 isotopes from a single reactor from Unit 2. And I can show you all those reactors coming up if you like. I should, I guess. It's important I always show you. It's important to imprint this on everybody. Here's the URAD project coming up, modeling. And these models are basically the same one you first watched, same type of forecast, based up on only 2 isotopes from a single reactor. And I'll show you those reactors right quick here, and then we'll come back over to the headlines. Cesium-137 plume forecast for North America and Europe up to March the 24th, Francis IRSN. And the Norwegian Institute got a lot of blowback, so they ended it. But here's their last one. Canada put out a model. Canada's model was you can see this middle sentence. The Fukushima plume provided a nice opportunity. Oh, how radical! You never even warned the kids. They flew along the coastline of British Columbia, Canada, taking samples every 15 minutes for 18 hours, 15-minute time resolution. And there's the modeling of it, but they never bothered releasing that until last year. I think it was the beginning of last year, 2015 or late 2014. Here's models from other institutions talking about the releases, the dispersals. And so all of the models that I could show you, and I can show you all kinds of visual, NOAA's model, the reactors are right on the ocean, 6-year model, 10-year models. The ocean current travels at 5 miles per hour, and at 45 days, it crossed the Pacific, and that's what it would look like. It would also follow from clouds, tens of thousands of miles being picked up and brought inland. And when that hits the mountains, it washes back down to your coastline. And so then it would wash back out into the ocean. I'll speed up this model for you if I can see it. Hang on, there we go. Here's based up on a couple of weeks release. It's the same isotopes that everybody else is talking about, iodine and cesium at best. And the model doesn't include the other thousands of radioactive isotopes or the melter reactors or the detonated reactors or the missing spent fuel pools. Now there was 5 million pounds in each reactor. So think about how it's crossed all the way to the Pacific and all the way across your continents. It's a steady plume, a straight plume, a continuous plume. That never stopped coming out of there. And think about the mathematical numbers I showed you earlier, and then think about all the other radioactive isotopes. If they were all different colors, they would be there. This is just a tracer. So what they're showing you is how the tracer was modeled to perform based upon a man-made venting, not based upon detonations, not based upon meltdowns, not based upon all the isotopes or the ongoing constant perpetual breeder reactor releasing that this thing in Fukushima is. Chernobyl stopped after 10 days. Chernobyl was a 30% meltdown. Chernobyl, 600 helicopter pilots died. That camera here, too. 600 helicopter pilots died. Let's bring up. Okay, we're already on that window. So the model behind me shows the plume going over the ocean continuously. And now the whole ocean is covered in plume. Imagine if that was a snowstorm or a rainstorm or a fog where it covered the entire ocean and the entire continents. But because you can't see it or smell it or taste it or hear it or feel it or pick it up or throw rocks at it. And so the law is really good. It's like tobacco law where they say nicotine will give you cancer, and there's 40 years of studies that they haven't been able to prove it, but scientists are close to proving it after 40 years. But you say, hey, wait a second. Cigarettes has 7,000 chemicals, not these, but the typical cigarette has 7,000 chemicals. And so they never said some of the 7,000 chemicals or the 7,000 chemicals cause cancer. They say nicotine causes cancer. And so it's the same way with the plume that you see above me. Right? They talk about iodine-131, but they're not talking about the thousands of other isotopes, right? So they're talking about in that plume above me, they're only talking about iodine-131 and 137. They're not talking about the thousands and thousands and thousands. And the jet stream, it only takes a couple of days to get here. Then it washes down through your lakes, your rivers, your estuaries, your streams, and back down into your coastline. But it gets hung up all along the way. It gets hung up in soil, in trees, and vegetation, and plants, and animal. It's as it went through, it coated everything. But it's invisible. You can't see it. It's insidious. It's like a chemical warfare. You can't, like a pathogen shows up in your country. But the disease doesn't show up. See, imagine if an alien race was to come to this planet, and we didn't know they were here. And what they done was, they gave everybody a disease, but it wouldn't show up. Gave everybody cancer, but it doesn't show up for about 30 or 40 years. And then he flew away. They come back in 100 years, and there's no one left. Because all the other diseases now can manifest because your body is fighting that cancer before it got diagnosed 30, 40 years down the road. So the death of the Pacific Ocean, we're going to cover some headlines. And we'll come back over some of these headlines because there's not that many in that folder. I want to cover them. Surge in radioactive cesium level causes incinerators because they're burning it throughout the country. They don't care about burning it in Tokyo because Tokyo is already irradiated. The plumes came right through the country. They went right across, as you can see above me, behind me. That's just one model based upon two elements. I'll show you the reactors coming up soon. Radioactive force and permanent risk must be cut down. Every gust of wind showers cesium particles over the village. Well, think about what a gram can do. Each reactor had 5 million pounds. And so my cigarettes don't got 7,000 chemicals. And like, it's so much stress to do these live streams every day. It's so easy just to shoot a video and do all the editing and get everything just pretty and just start uploading it and walk away. That's not what live streaming is. Live streaming is a 24-hour-a-day nightmare. And then 2 hours, 3 hours before the show starts and hours after. Once this is over, I have to redub everything into a quality rather because it's such a high, it's like a 60 gigabyte file that I'm recording. And then I have to compress that down into something that's not destroyed, but still and legible and useful and able to upload onto the internet because it's bandwidth restrictions. And then get that uploaded. I can't use the internet while any of that's going on. It's like, it just consumes all day, every day of your life, and it's worth every second of it. To try to reach out into that community, to show them this documentation, to show them this data, to show them this narrative that exists, but no one in the media wants to share it with them. And to put it in a format that's tangible and digestible and palatable. Even with a cigarette without 9,000 chemicals. Right? People are so brainwashed. You see somebody with a cigarette, I can't trust him, he's smoking a cigarette. Like the trolls will say that to discredit people that got hooked on 7,000 chemicals and no one told them. No one said, you're trying to kick 7,000 chemicals, not nicotine. See? And it's the same thing with the radiation, where they talk about iodine-131 and cesium-137, but skip past everything else. The americium, the neptunium, the plutonium, the really nasty stuff. Everything comes out of a chain reaction, and most of it is curium. I got some really good stuff coming up. Let's boom through all of this. There's another way to bring up that. Camera 3, wasn't it? No. It doesn't work. Can't remember. Okay, let's get on with it. Radiation force and permanent risk must be cut down every gust of wind. Enormous spread of radiation levels so high. This is throughout Japan. See, all of Japan is contaminated. Nothing was contained. Everything blew up and detonated. I'm going to show you some pictures coming up in case you're not familiar. But levels so high in the hills of Litigate that locals dare not go near 150 millisieverts a year. See, millisieverts is not how you should count this. You count in atomic decays, radioactive elements, actual atoms from the reactors themselves, present in your environment, right there. Don't muddle the water by doing... Because they've been changing the definition of this But that has always remained true. That has always been there in the forefront because you can't get away from the atomic decay, from the Becquerel, from the atomic disintegration per second. And so all I'm showing you is proof of shocking numbers throughout the country. Professor measuring contamination warns police of high radiation. Over 300 police officers guarding the exclusion zone died of heart attacks and strokes and just dropped dead. Renal failure, kidney failure. Let's keep going. And then the media comes out, commander responds, slander! Because that's the culture of Japan, right? It's a vicious culture. It is. Like Japan doesn't use foster homes for children. The state raises them. That's twisted stuff. Japan Times interview. Tokyo is still in danger of being lost, and the government should be acting accordingly. This is a country that has schoolgirls' panty machines that are used in vending machines at malls, on street corners, for Christ's sakes. In Canada, we play hockey. Down there, they play with panty vending machines. The world is insane down there. People eating more radiation but not in danger. 96% of Fukushima residents, well, they say, the politicians will come in and say, oh, you eat potassium, potato chips, and bananas all the time. Like the graphics, like the calculator I showed you earlier, potassium can't hurt you. And then the amount that it produces is irrelevant. And it can't hurt you. You got potassium in your clothing. Anybody tells you like a banana or potato chip, they're getting in your face. They're making fun of you. They're calling you an idiot. Like any professional that got an education. It's up on media, blogs, mainstream TV, or anywhere else. And any major university will come out and apologize and say, any of them that said it was like a banana and got an education, they knew better. They got the job because they're willing to come out and do that if there was an accident. Easy ride until you have an accident. You got to get out and earn your dollar, earn your tenner. That's all a university professor is. Every fucking one of them, excuse the language, have betrayed us and our friends and our families and our children that we send her. It's an utter betrayal. Not only that, an education is useless. Don't even bother sending your child. Set them up in a little home mom and pop business. That's what you got to do. That's the right thing to do. You don't send them off to go to work for corporations to enslave everybody. You don't send them off to be a stock trader to perpetuate corporate personhood. 96 of Fukushima residents. 96%. No one's ever got harmed by radiation, Dana. They did. They just don't show up for years, and you know that. That's why I hate you with a passion. That's why I despise you with everything I have in my body. That's why I have nothing but contempt for you every time I mention you people that apologize for the nuclear industry. That's why I exist. It's because millions of Danas, millions of people like me, millions of Kevin Blanches, millions of Jan Brooks, Miss Milky the Clown, and everybody in the comment section, millions and millions and millions of them are out there. And they're learning, they're becoming articulate, and they're educating everybody around them. And your little world is crumbling all around you everywhere you go. You feel it. You got to come out and harass anybody that says it's not like a banana or don't even understand it. You got to come out and say it's like a banana. I don't know what you're worried about. That's a nuclear PR firm. That's a moron. That's a coward. That's a traitor. That's an utter betrayal of the other 8 million species on this planet that don't have a voice. We're their voice. That's who we are. Besides our own voices, and for our own species, we got 8 million other. We're the stewards of that. Not our government, not some fucking rogue organization, but all of us. It's our obligation. We're obligated. Not only through the Bill of Rights and the Magna Cartas and the constitutions of the democratic countries, but we're obligated as another species on the planet that has control over that. How did we get to this point? It was because for 70 years they lied to you about nuclear. For the whole period they lied to you about tobacco, where they said nicotine gave you cancer, but they never produced a single study showing nicotine gave you cancer. And they've never told you there were 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. Did they? Why didn't they? Why ain't you upset about that? Why ain't you outraged that you were deceived and manipulated and still are. Why don't you turn it off? Why don't you get rid of it? Why don't you find another way to enjoy your day besides listening to that nonsense and regurgitating that vomit that they puke up all the time? All you're doing is sucking it up and puking it back up again into somebody else's face because you watched it on TV and you think you have a moral right now to interject your nonsense into the conversation. Oh, I seen on TV, he said it's like that. Like a banana. How can you be so gullible, man? Let's keep going. High radiation level at the possible Olympic. No matter where the possible Olympic site is high radiation, that's murder, bringing people from all over the world into that environment. It's the greediest thing imaginable, it's most disgusting, despicable. It's disgusting that they're even considering having the Olympics in Japan. It's barbaric. It's criminal. It's murder. It's contempt for the human species and every other species on this planet. But to bring people in there, athletes who don't know any better and putting their faith in you, and then 20, 30 years down the road have to liquidate that gold medal to get some more chemotherapy. Only 2% of the people who get chemotherapy survive. 2% survive any longer than they should have, according to what the whack jobs who want to pump it into them said. Look, you're taking nuclear waste, you're worried about turning into a dirty bomb and injecting it into a human. Do you get the irony of what you're talking about? You're worried about dirty bomb from hospitals and everything else, so you got security and everything else like that, right? But yet you take that stuff and inject it into a human. You're worried you're going to spread it where humans are, but now you take it at a hospital and put it in the human, where only 2% of them are going to live longer. And they had to sign their life away for them to do it to you. Do you get how stupid of a society we really become? Where everybody thinks giving someone chemotherapy is the only solution. How the hell did you get that stupid? How did you? From watching TV, from reading Time magazine or anything else like it. Forbes. Jeez, Forbes got James Conker up there screaming all day, every day that Fukushima is like a banana. A banana's homeostasis. Your body regulates. You can't get any more banana potassium 40 or potato chip potassium 40 or the potassium 40 that is everywhere in your body anyway. In your body. It's good for you. It's regulated. It's normal. You need it. But everything else is sequestered in your organs, your muscles, your bones, where your body attacks it for decades. I'm not going to get through any headlines, am I? Or 11:13. We have Fukushima polluting the entire Pacific Ocean. We're talking about how people should be dressed. I'll finish that one off tomorrow. How about that? Yeah, but if a terrorist gets it, it's a dirty bomb, Dana. Let's go over to the other camera. We got shit we got to get through. Okay. All right. I'll be back after. Let's burn through the pictures real quick. Fukushima. Had a 9.0 earthquake. I'm going to go pretty quick here coming up, so strap yourselves in. Fukushima had a 9.0 earthquake plus. This was 7,000 times worse in Haiti. Ran through the country at over 9,000 miles an hour. It was felt in Florida half an hour later. Shook the country for 6 minutes. They're always trying to minimize it, bring it down a couple of minutes at each year. I noticed that. It shook the country for 6 minutes. Go back and watch the original videos. The tsunami came through the entire country. The entire country. And this is where people died. The bigger the red block is, the more people died in that spot. And the red numbers are the people that died. The yellow numbers are the people that are missing. And so this is where all the nuclear power plants were too. And then we know there was over 15 reactors in that same area where all the people died, right? On the right-hand side. The number 3 from the top was Fukushima. The next one was Daini. We have confirmations of that. And it's Chernobyl depictions. 14 reactors at 4 sites. It was another headline. Fukushima governor demands to decommission 10 reactors. Huh? 10 reactors you say, Dana? Yeah. Okay, well let's see the reactors that they are working on, Dana, where the meltdowns were confirmed. That was in Unit 1 at Fukushima Daiichi, Military Industrial Complex's Directed Energy Weapons Production Facility. This is where they make isotopes for directed energy weapons. And byproduct is power that they sell power, right? To fund the dirty wars. This is Unit 2. These are about 100% meltdown, melt through, melt out. This is Unit 3, 100% meltdown. This was 6 million times worse than Chernobyl. Let me repeat that to you one more time. This is 6 million times worse than Chernobyl. This is 2 million times worse than any current reactor on the planet. Chernobyl was 1/3 the size. Chernobyl was a 30% meltdown. Chernobyl stopped after 10 days. Chernobyl, they threw 1 million people at it. 600,000 conscripted soldiers, 400,000 tradespeople, 600 helicopter pilots. They all died, the helicopter pilots. There's over 3 million children permanent disabilities in Belarus, according to Kofi Annan in 2000, from Chernobyl. This is Unit 4. Unit 4, they tore it all down. Then he rolled out a picture and said it looked like that. And we know it looked like that. And they show pictures like that and said, no, it's like that. And we're going to get all the fuel out of it. Shut up, you're Al-Qaeda. So what do you need that big truck for? Why'd you fly it all the way in on the world's biggest plane? To put it alongside the reactor, to put water in that, if the roof looked like that and the fuel pole looked like that, huh? Because you faked it, because it actually looks like that, right? I got over 5,000 pictures. You got 30 million bags. You got the whole country. Where that tsunami ran through that country, that tsunami you're looking at, that's what killed all these people. Right? And that tsunami, that's why where all the nuclear power plants were in the same area where all those people killed. See? And there's 15 reactors went in a heart attack mode. We're going to jump gears to studies. Yeah, I said studies. Now this is exposure to radiation increases the risk for a range of diseases. There's 1,800 of them show up before the cancer. But anyway, politics of a permissible dose. There's no such thing. A single atom will give you a cancer. And that's, ionizing radiation on non-human biota affects a low level. They've studied it. Civilian use material, chronic releases of low level of radiation to the environment, particular from the nuclear fuel cycle, which is most of what's coming out of used fuel, which is extraordinarily dangerous. A pound of it will kill everybody in a room in 20 minutes, even 1,500 people in the theater in 20 minutes, every 20 minutes till the end of time. Just a pound of it. There's 5 million pounds missing from each reactor, and not counting the reactors that were on the roof and the fuel pool, they're missing also. So tens of millions of pounds is missing, and a gram produces 88 times 37 billion atomic decays per second till the end of time. The storm that went through the Philippines, like I was meant to finish up earlier, that picked up all the radiation from Japan, increased its temperature increased the speed. It took out 42 provinces. Winds sustained 200 miles an hour, gusting a lot higher than that. So, but anyway, here, I'm just going to flash through all these studies. So radiation is present in the environment from both natural and man-made sources. Anthropogenic sources is man-made. But natural sources doesn't mean anything. So they screw over the study immediately by doing that, right? They discredit the study. Civilian use of nuclear material, they say it's there naturally. Natural stuff can't hurt you. Natural stuff. Where's everything to? Well, natural stuff, you're acclimated to it through genetic superior selection. So genetic superiority, everything on the planet is acclimated to it, or we wouldn't exist. Right? We'd all be going around big fucking tumors under our arms. What? Why'd you say Ma? Ma, can you move a little lift, Ma? Big tumor in the way. No, you don't see that in nature. But you see that around nuclear power plants. You see that for the dogs from Dr. Raymond Gilman. We'll cover that coming up in a little tiny bit. We only got a few minutes left. Let's keep burning through these headlines. So we're just going to burn through them because we might never get back to them for weeks. Radioactive releases, you can stop the video hopefully later and be able to read some of it. It's good quality on YouTube at Beautiful Girl by Dana After. Radioactive releases from nuclear power plants are a normal operation. They're all releasing radiation all the time. They're hemorrhaging it out of there all the time. They say Fukushima is leaking. There's no such thing as a leak. The buildings were wrecked. I showed you the pictures earlier. List the different main radioactive isotopes produced in fuel in nuclear plants which are released in very small amounts naturally. Yeah, like it's just all these studies I'm flashing you through. Critical pathway analyst for the U.S. Department of Energy, Savannah. Right. However, is that only a small number of released radionuclides have been significant contributors, potential doses, and risk. How is only a small number? Everything that comes to editors, see, is a permanent risk till the end of time. Anybody, that plant can disappear in 1,000 years, and people might be alive and move in there, and then they'll be radioactive, contaminated, and dying of vicious diseases. Anything gets out in the air, anything that gets an inhalation. The critical exposure pathways with airborne releases, inhalation, vegetable consumption, and the critical exposure pathways associated with liquid releases. Drinking water. Now think about the water, it evaporates, right? As mist and dew in the morning from the rivers all along the shoreline throughout thousands of miles. It goes to the ocean, then it irradiates the ocean when it gets there till the end of time. Nuclear energy, healthy impact of carbon-14. That's man-made though. And krypton-85 and tritium, which is 3H. They don't list it there, but that's what they should be on teacher time. Right? Yeah, it's generated in the reactors, 3H, plus as many daughters. Because of the long half-life, are larger than those of the two other, but there's so much of these produced. There's so much, incredible amounts produced. It's just such a deceptive, deceitful, twisted industry in every sense of the word. Hang on, that's not where we wanted to be quite yet. No, I can't remember where it was there. Radio protection by treatment with and changes in small intestines amount. I'm just trying to remember because we only got a couple of minutes. 12 days survived whole gamma radiation. 29% of heavy water for 12 days. All moist. It shows you how bad this stuff. And I'll show you some more in a few seconds. The number of positions occupied. The nuclear industry. They produce energy in the form of heat from either fission reaction or radioactive decay and radiation from radioactive decay. But when you release into the environment, it continues to release that energy, that heat. See? And so storms that are picking up the radiation will be accelerating in the future to 500 miles an hour. Right now, we see sustained winds in Tonga, in Fiji, and in the Philippines, in the Pacific, all in the Pacific, of over 200 mile an hour sustained winds. We've never seen that on planet Earth before, only in little mountain passes. We've never seen it in storms that hit land ever. And we don't have any kind of modeling, and it's getting stronger and faster and worse. And Mexico, a few months ago, right? It was just a small section, came in at over 200 miles an hour and pounded the coastline for a short section and went back to sea, luckily for everybody. So they produce, this is just confirming to you what a reactor really does. It just produces man-made, everything is from uranium. Everything you're putting in there is created from that uranium. You're not adding the iodine and the cesium, americium, neptunium there. The plutonium that you're reclaiming from the missiles was man-made to begin with. The use of radioactive isotopes from pharmacological research, you should never use it for, there is no justification for having that in our environment. That's why we have nuclear terrorist laws. That's why we have nuclear waste sites. That's why we're trying to build a repository. That's why we're fighting over Yukon Mountain. That's why every country out there is still scratching their head. They can't find a way to dispose of it because it produces the noble gases. The noble gases, when it hits, it doesn't need a flame. It hits oxygen at some point. When it decays, the container in 1,000-year decays, detonates. Then you have a chain reaction spewing this stuff out till the end of time. Once we're gone, this planet will never ever be able to inhabit it. Look, if you have a solar flare come in and hit the planet, down goes all the nuclear power plants, all the electronics. Every nuclear power plant on the planet will start to melt down within 11 hours. The fuel pools will lose their water in about 11 hours, 1 inch a minute. Let's get back and finish it up. Doctor, we're going to skip this and cover more of it next time. The study, because I had to start up a whole new session, remember? Thursday and Friday we couldn't go live and I had to fight, and we got new sessions. I haven't got everything imported yet. Dr. Raymond Gilmini, he's got 94 peer-reviewed studies, killing beagle dogs and beagle puppies. Let me bring it up this way, it might be better for everybody. That didn't work out either. Hang on. Now what's going on, Dana? I'm not sure, man. Hang on. This could get stupid. That's my background, not your background. Okay, let's keep going. It's not what we wanted, though. Let's try that one more time. So it's not going to work today. 144 beagle dogs. Long story short, bone tumors were found in 90 dogs. See, I don't know why it's doing that today to me, but you can't read everything that I got there for you. That's kind of annoying, Dana. Fix it or get on with it. Okay. That's all we got today. I'll just read it for you from my end anyway. Not that I can see anything different than what you're seeing. But anyway, long story, because I know this study really well, and so do most people that's here today. Dr. Raymond Gilmedy produced 94 peer-reviewed academic studies, and they're all killing beagle dogs and beagle puppies for 35 plus years now. He's still in business. Loveless Respiratory Research Institute in New Mexico. I know, New Mexico. I always say New Mexico. It's just because I've said it so much, maybe. All of these studies were killing the beagle dogs and beagle puppies. That one was 144. 90 were tumors within the first 3 years. All of them were dead within 5 years. They done that for 35 years. They never tried to save a dog. They never tried to cure a dog. They didn't give them relief with drugs because that wouldn't be a true experiment. So vicious tumors, big open sores, big disgusting tumors, dogs in misery every day for 35 years. Never tried to cure the dogs. Never thought about it, I guess. The nuclear doesn't pay you to cure stuff. They pay you to inject it into people and kill people. It's an agenda. You have to be an idiot to take your loved one. You're just brainwashed and you're desperate. I get it. And you're terrified and you're horrified and you bought into that system. But look what it done to you. Look what the data shows you. Look at the actual proof of people like Dr. Raymond Gilmedy. He wasn't injecting as much into the dogs as what they're doing in the hospital. It's way out of league. It's a whole different world. They can put anything they want in a chemotherapy. Plutonium, americium, uranium, strontium, and they do. And put any combination of it in there, and they do. It'll never cure cancer. It can't cure cancer. That's one of the biggest manifestations of cancer. Nicotine will, they say cigarette will cause cancer, but they don't bother mentioning about the other 7,000 chemicals. Gilmedy kills dogs for 35 years, never bothered trying to cure them. That's some legacy, man. That's disgusting legacy. I'll come in here and say goodnight to everybody. Hugs for everybody. And well wishes for everybody. Camera 2, Dana. Give it the program. Another mouse. Get your other mouse, Dana, for the other computer. Hi, Albert. Candace. Nev Killer. Mickey. Elaine is out there somewhere. Jan is probably working out there somewhere. Jan Brooks. Miss Melky the Clown 1 on YouTube. And Ellie. Andrea. Mickey. Candace. I'm just going to hit names as coming down. Bruce. Nip Killer. Illusion is over. Hugs for everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Good day today. And John says grown tobacco is it absorbs radiation. So does hemp, apparently really good at it. Anything petroleum can do, hemp can do better. We know that. Hope the audio worked out this time. Everybody said it was good. I got to scale back quite a bit. It should be a little less feedback. I'm going to reroute a lot of the chords I got here over the next couple of days and try to get the audio a little bit better for everybody. I know how important it is. I don't like bringing the microphone directly into the show, but we need that audio to compete against the pro-nuclear smut machines, smear machines, snuff movies that are being produced out there. That's what a nuclear PR firm is producing, those little videos about pro-nuclear. They're actually snuff movies. You just don't understand that 5-10 years down the road, your loved ones who took that advice are going to suffer unimaginably right till the day they die because they took a pro-nuclear advice. Anybody take a pro-nuclear advice, you're sentencing you and your friends and your families and your communities and the other 8 million species on this planet to an agonizing death in the future. Fukushima has pretty well nailed that in all of our coffins. We need to speak out against Fukushima. We all got to do it. We all got to bring up Fukushima. Hugs for everybody. Starlight, Just Cruising, Zip Free, and everybody else I didn't say hi to. Thanks, Jan Brooks. Yeah, bye, Amy. I'm Thirst. Anybody I didn't get, hugs for you too. We'll see everybody tomorrow. We got a good stream tomorrow. We'll finish up where we were today. That's the best we can do. We'll see you all then.